In this video, I'm going to guide you through finding inputs and outputs of a function from its graph. So go ahead and pause the video while you copy this problem. Make sure you use graph paper and make sure to label your axes with the ones like I have here to indicate what kind of scale you're using on the x-axis and the y-axis. The instructions say use the function f shown below to answer the questions. So I apologize for my terrible handwriting, but pause the video, copy this down, and then we'll get started. Okay, question A regarding this function is determine f of -2. And so to do this, you have to understand if -2 is an input or an output to the f function. And so you have to think about if it's in the parentheses, is it an input or an output? Then you locate it, if it's an input, on the x-axis, and you find its output, and that's your answer. If it's an output, you locate -2 on the y-axis and locate any inputs, and those will be your answer. So take a moment to do that. Pause the video and see if you can figure it out. Question B, determine f of 0.2. It's the same process here. 0.2 is an input or an output, meaning an x or a y. Locate it on the x or y axis, and then find the input or output that goes with it, or if there's more than one, list all of those. Pause the video and see if you can figure that out. Part C, determine f of 3. Same process as A and B. Pause the video and see if you can figure that out. Part D, determine the domain. Of course, we write these in interval notation. So domain means all of the x values. So basically you start on the left side of your x-axis and you scan to the right and you find all the x values that have outputs on this graph. Okay? And don't let the open and closed circles throw you off. If an x value has an output in any place, then that x value is part of your domain. Okay? So while it may not have outputs in some places, it may have outputs in other places. So scan your x-axis from left to right, find all the x values that have outputs, and write those down in interval notation. Pause the video and see if you can figure that out. Part E, determine the range. So same idea as domain, a little bit harder. For range, you're scanning y values. So you start at the bottom and you work your way up and you find all the y values that have inputs. All the y values represented on this graph. So again, if there's an open circle in one place, but the function is defined in another place, then that y value is part of your range. Pause the video and see if you can find the range of the function. Okay, now that you've got parts A through E hopefully solved, I'll go ahead and give you the answers so you can check. So determine f of -2. We can't get an exact value of this, so we'll say approximately 3.2. Something around 3.2. f of 0.2, that one is exact. f of 0.2 is 3. f of 3 is undefined, or there is no output for f of 3. Determine the domain. The domain is negative infinity all the way to 3, parenthesis, union, bracket, 4, comma, infinity, parenthesis. The range is negative infinity, comma, 5, parenthesis. So if you didn't get some of those answers right, go back, see if you can figure out what you did wrong, and good luck.